Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth, shifting you into higher consciousness. A show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, interviews with inspiring guests, experts, and celebrities, intuitive readings, channeled messages, mental health awareness, and hot topics to expand your awareness.
Hello, everybody. This is Eden, and I have Kim here with me again, and we're here to talk to everybody today about a really important topic I think a lot of people are experiencing. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. I think this will be very helpful to you and anybody that you know that might be going through what seems to look like depression, I think is pretty much in a
It could be, well, I mean,
nutshell.
I think depression, it could be darkness, it could be struggle, suffering, pain, anxiety,
Yeah.
worry, pain. Pain just keeps coming up because I feel like all of it is some sort of pain.
Yeah.
It causes you to feel unlike yourself. And that's really hard.
Yes, very hard, very hard. And that's interesting that you said it that way, because I think it also is, if you allow yourself to go through it, whatever it is that's coming to the surface, you will get to a place where you are more aligned with your truest, highest self.
Yeah.
Like remembering who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a lot of positive can come from it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I had the other day, this reminds me of this topic. A couple days ago, I was in my kitchen and had my back to the window, and I heard this really loud bang sound. So I turn around and it was a bird that smashed into my window. But what was really, I mean,
Poor thing.
I felt bad. It happens a lot. It's kind of, something that happens to at least once in everyone's lives. But this one, what I saw, that was different for me was that the bird just slams into the window and then flies away. And I saw it just went over to another area of the backyard and it was fine. So I thought that was pretty interesting because, I mean, it slammed hard. So I thought for sure something like he was going to keel over and be dead, but no, he was fine. So I feel like that's sort of metaphor. And maybe that's why I was shown that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
it's about resilience. Like, no matter how hard you hit bottom, you can pick yourself up and get through it
Mm-hmm.
and be even better or stronger. So hopefully the bird's fine. It looked like it was. But yeah, I think that was like a really loud message that I was meant to hear.
Yeah, I agree. And it makes me think of, there's a quote that I had gotten from Psychology Today, and it says, resilience is that ineffable quality that allows some people to be knocked down by life and come back stronger than ever. Rather than letting failure overcome them and drain their resolve, they find a way to rise from the ashes and bounce back. And immediately, who that made me think of is Tina Turner, who, rest in peace, rest in power. She was just not only, iconic in her gifts and talents, but also I feel like she was such a role model to everyone for bouncing back from some of the darkest, hardest struggles anyone could ever imagine. Not only her marriage to Ike, that she had to escape abuse, but also things like, in the last 5 years, she had both of her sons die.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of them died 5 years ago. He had a health issue. And then another one died 5 months ago by suicide. And she said that he died because he was lonely. He was like this bubbly person and he had been alone too much.
Yeah.
And she had kidney issues and just different things. She did have a lot of great things in her life. And she has different quotes that are just really powerful. Like, she talks about whatever it is bringing you down, get rid of it, because you'll find that when you're free, your true self comes out. And she has another one that says, I didn't have anybody, really, no foundation in life, so I had to make my own way. Always from the start, I had to go out into the world and become strong to discover my mission. And that's what it is. Sometimes we have to, I don't believe everybody has to, but sometimes people go through darkness to enhance or even discover what their purpose and mission is, and their ability to help more people.
Yeah, I always have looked at depression or, pain as an opportunity to get to know the real you.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but really, I think it takes someone who has that courage to have that fighter spirit to push through, no matter how bad it is. And everybody has that a way to do so, but not everybody chooses that path.
Yeah. Well, some people just stay stuck in it, and it
Yeah.
becomes a habit. It becomes their identity. Like you all know those people that have had one hardship happen to them, and it's their identity for the rest of their life. And it's something that maybe happened 40 years ago, and they're still saying, "I'm that person that went through that," and that's their identity.
Right. So they allow themselves to be defined by it. Right. But that's not who they really are at the soul level. But that's
Right.
sad. Very sad. So
They
there's also the dark night of the soul, like ego death, which I think is so important for everyone to allow that process to happen. But that can be really, really painful. Yeah. I think I've been through a few.
Me too. I was gonna say, I think I've been through numerous ones, and some of them have been really strange. And
Yeah.
I've seen things and heard things and felt the darkest I've ever felt, and just really scary, but like still having trust that this is for my highest good.
Yeah.
Can you explain it? Do you have a description of it more, what it is?
Yeah, I have something in front of me and let's see. Well, first of all, I like this little quote. It says it's the falling into the pit of the void. Um, that's exactly what it is, but in more detail. Every spiritual journey has its share of ups and downs. When we reach our lowest, it's known as the dark night of the soul. While never easy, the dark night of the soul is an essential part of spiritual awakenings and is sure to teach you something profound. So, and that's just scratching the surface of what it really is because I mean it's dark.
Right.
A
Right.
lot.
And sometimes like what makes me think of is like, let's say a stereotypical guy who's making tons of money and loses everything and hits bottom, and either sometimes just falls apart or has a spiritual awakening and goes through the dark night of the soul. So maybe it's very painful and difficult and a
Yeah.
lot of strange experiences, but then comes out of it like this whole newly emerged being without an ego anymore.
Yeah, and here, look, it says the dark night of the soul is a breaking away from the illusions of fear and ego to shift our alignment and values to what is real and true, the connection to the divine, and ultimately pave the way for your life purpose and mission here on earth.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the best teachers, spiritual teachers, that describes how to get out of darkness is Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's one of my favorites. I think probably my favorite spiritual teacher out of all of them. And he it's so funny. I'm getting a message like, well, actually, my favorite has been the messages we've received from Prince from Glowing. But
Yeah.
like the ones that I've been constantly reading and studying, as well as Dr. Wayne Dyer. And so I'm just gonna give a few of these because I feel like they're really helpful when you're in a place like we talked about, if that you're feeling like, gosh, what is the point? Life is dark. I just don't even know. Some people are like, I don't know if I can handle it anymore. Or, you know what, I'm sick of struggling. I'm sick of the repeated patterns or chaos or, feeling sad or anything. Like, I don't feel like I have anybody. A lot of these things are common, and we always feel like we're the only, like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one feeling like this. I'm alone in my struggle. I'm crazy. Mine's different than everyone else because it's not talked about enough. And
Mhm.
so one of the things that Dr. Wayne Dyer says is become familiar with inspiration of those who have overcome darkness. So look up people. He says, for example, look up Helen Keller's story. Somebody that I thought of is Michael J. Fox. He has gone through hell and back. And one of the things he says that saves him is just that he tries to find humor in as many moments as possible in the darkness,
Yeah.
because it's hard to be in his own body,
Yeah.
and that is so hard when you're I know how it feels to just like almost feel like you want to get out of your body because your body's not cooperating.
Yeah.
Um, and so you do have to find humor and just take things sometimes breath by breath and moment by moment.
Yep.
Another one I liked was actually literally go outside into the light when thoughts of darkness overtake you. So it says, I think we also get afraid that we're, a crazy person if we're thinking something morbid, or maybe a weird thought comes in that doesn't even feel like it's our own. And, we go, oh my God, something's wrong with me. I'm a terrible person. And then we go into this spiral of dark, negative thoughts. And sometimes thoughts come in that are not even ours. They come in from maybe a movie we watched or something we heard, or, just jumbled up information. So we don't always have to take it on as facts or that we are dark. And so he says, literally just go out into the light and then re-examine those thoughts. And a lot of times the darkness will decrease it.
Yeah.
And you invite in the light literally from divine energy to come in and let those dark thoughts subside.
That's powerful. And this is making me think of when I went through what I think I called at the time, I didn't know about a dark night of the soul. But I think it was just depression. Um I found there was this book called The Heroine's Journey that like it just took me out of it. It was so amazing. I'm trying to look it up as we're talking right now because
Uh-huh.
I want to share it with everyone. How profound it was.
Like a hero's journey, right?
It's
Heroine.
yeah,
At first, I'm like heroine.
heroine, heroine's journey.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
here, I found it.
Who's it
Uh,
by?
it is by Maureen Murdoch, and it's a
Okay.
really small, short, kind of short book.
And
Yeah,
what about it made you get out of that? What do you think?
because she talks about it's been so long, so I can't remember everything. I just remember how it made me feel. But the one thing that stands out is that we all have this armor, um, and it's our protection. To not feel, to not have to sort of relive things that happened in our past that were traumatic and painful. So she talks about how to peel away at that armor in a way that's safe.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, yeah. So that was really powerful for me. And the other one was Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, but also the
Mhm.
New Earth.
New Earth. Yeah,
Yeah,
those are great. I love those too.
yeah.
Do you remember how to do that? Like, because I think that, like, okay, for example, like it's really good no matter what we both do healing work with people and coaching and different things. And it's really good to go deep and figure out what you need to heal. But sometimes if you've done a lot and you need a break, but there's still some more to be done, how to do it in a gentle way. What do you remember that you took from that?
Hmm. Um, what happens for me now, and I think it happened before, but I didn't realize it. I do a lot of my healing work in my dreams. And it, I'm able to, before I fall asleep at night, I will ask for my body to do the work that it needs to do while I'm sleeping. And it happens every night. And I
Mm,
remember, it helps me. I also remember what happened in the dreams, and then I kind of piece it together to form a lesson, or what a message, what they were trying to share with me. So that is like the most gentle for me
mhm.
because I'm sleeping. um and another one I think is just being really uh gentle on yourself, like letting those feelings come up. And sometimes I like to look at what the trigger was, like if I'm feeling something, and like where does it apply, or what's the link with what happened recently uh in the moment, in the present moment, and then where's it linked to from my past, from my inner child. And then just kind of like acknowledge the whatever it is that happened in the past, and have a conversation, listen to the inner child, let her have her voice. And that feels very safe and nurturing, because it's all about self-love and self-parenting, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like giving the child, the inner child, that part of you that has that emptiness or that void, giving them what they didn't get. in the
Mhm.
past. Yeah. And it makes whatever's going on in the present a little bit easier.
Mhm. Yeah, because it can be so scary that sometimes, even though it was something that happened in the past, all of a sudden you get like the physical PTSD feeling from it and the thoughts from it. And all of a sudden it's like you're reliving it and it feels like you're in danger.
Yeah.
And, it can be very scary. And so the more we can just face these things and do some of these tips, it'll help to get through it and to learn from it and flow with it and all of that. Another one that I like that Dr. Wayne Dyer says is that him and his wife would practice sending out white light to others. And so he says he'll literally like meditate on white light, visualize white light, send it out to others. Just imagine sending white light to help others, uplift them, heal them, make them happier. And he says what that does is not only it's like giving and blessing people, but it's altering the light with our thoughts and emotions and sending pure light to help protect anyone from the darkness. And then it makes you get used to expecting light instead of expecting dark things to happen. So it's like kind
Yeah.
of retraining, it's
Yeah.
retraining your mind.
Yeah. Recalibrating.
That word again. Yes. I got that word intuitively the other night and I'm like, okay, I have to look it up. What does that mean? And it's, it literally means almost like a rebirth. It
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, because you're rewiring the way you used to think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm cracking up because he says, okay, so in a couple episodes ago, I said that I was like, oh, I'm getting messages. I'm supposed to give up Diet Coke. So right now, of course, I turn to a page. I'm looking at these Wayne Dyer tips. And he says, one of the ways to get rid of darkness is to practice purification in areas of your life. So, of course, like not drinking alcohol, drinking more water, flushing your body with water. You'll feel lighter. You'll think lighter. And then he gives an example of giving up diet soda, but he says he would drink 8 to 10 cans a day.
Oh,
I'm
how much do
whoa,
you drink? What do you drink?
like 1 to 3.
Okay.
Usually. And so like maybe like 2 or 3. And so he says he decided to replace it with sparkly water or pure water, and he never touched it again. And it helps him feel lighter and more pure. And it says, by purifying your body, thoughts, language, you purify your behaviors and bring in light to shine on darkness or shadows on your life.
Mm.
So that's a pretty good one. Yeah, I don't know. Mine is so funny with that. The Diet Coke is weird because I'll get like anxiety, fight or flight feelings. And if I drink a Diet Coke, it makes it go away. And so that's
Oh,
why, yes. And so that's why I stayed like, and it's so funny because yesterday I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop drinking it. And then I started feeling really awful and it wouldn't go away. So I'm like, all right. And then it went away and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to still drink it for a little longer, but eventually I'm planning to give it up just because it's not good for you, you know?
yeah, yeah, but I wonder what it is that's making it go away. Maybe
Um,
it's a distraction.
No, you know what it is? Okay, so I looked it up because I was curious.
Oh,
It's kind
okay.
of fascinating. I'm all encouraging everyone to drink Diet Coke. But I'm sure this could probably work with something else like iced tea. I'm gonna try to switch to iced tea, but it says the aspartame, which is terrible, it's a chemical. The aspartame and the caffeine are giving you a sort of like an endorphin. What is it called? Dopamine. They're giving you
Uh-huh.
dopamine, which is like you can get that from
Okay.
fast walking and being in nature and like music, but it gives you dopamine and it helps like balance. And so I'm like, you know what? If right now it works, whatever. But yeah, I eventually just like to try to only eat as much healthy as I can and
Yeah.
have that, less. So which I do eat healthy, but like I don't know. It can't be perfect, but that's just a goal that I have. So we'll check back. You can check back with me in 6 more episodes and see where I'm at.
Yeah. And you know what? That reminds me of I don't even know why it reminds me of this, but I came across a video on Instagram. A doctor was talking about first light of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the first 45 minutes of the day when the sun comes up. Um, that we should spend time out there because it does the same thing as Diet Coke does for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that, I mean, who wakes up that early? But but
Some
that's
people.
a natural, healthy way of getting endorphins and dopamine for your day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh, and
like that.
he also said that there's no, I don't know if I'm going to use the right verbiage here, but that part of the day, the sun, the rays, there's no uh what is it called? What they have in sunscreen? I mean, what they have in
Oh,
why?
the ultraviolet or something?
Yeah, there's no ultraviolet rays. There's nothing that's unhealthy for our skin
Mm.
during that first flight.
Oh, I never knew that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. But again, we have to wake up early then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so then going a little bit into sadness, like that kind of darkness where you're sad and like really literally something happened that is, you do need to feel the sadness, but you just don't want to be there day in and day out. And even when someone's in something like grief or, something really struggling that happened that made them sad, they need to have laughter filled and light filled times mixed in with feeling the feelings. And so Dr. Wayne Dyer says things will improve if you decide you'll be happy regardless of the events. You'll be able to get past this and you'll look back, you'll be able to look back on it in a different way. And so he says that happiness is the meaning and purpose of life. That's what Aristotle said. The whole aim and end of human existence is happiness. And so when you face your own thoughts of sadness or encounter those of others, try to tune into some form of happiness. And I think that what happens a lot of times is with grief, people feel guilty for being happy or laughing, and they keep themselves in a sad, painful place because they feel guilty, like I shouldn't be happy when something sad happened.
Well,
So what is your take on that?
well, I think another reason why people stay in the sadness after losing someone is because the guilt of how could I have a happy life if they're gone, if they can't have a happy life. So they also look at it like, how can I be happy now? That means if I don't stay in this pain and the sadness, then I'm going to lose them for good. They don't know how to be happy and stay connected to their loved one.
Thank you for listening to Talk Purpose and Truth podcast. Find out more at talkpurposeandtruth.com. And follow us at Talk Purpose Truth on Instagram and Facebook.